I think the whole direction of evolution, in the most general sense, is towards, the most general way of putting it is towards more full knowing of reality. And this time in history, through the whole scientific endeavor, we are coming to a really fascinating and getting fairly full knowing of the physical reality. Looking out to the edges of the universe now, just the last few 10 years, 20 years with the Hubble telescope, we're looking out all the way to the edge of the universe and absolutely amazed at what we're finding. We're looking back in time at the same time and trying to understand how it began. We're looking deep, deep, deep into matter. We're understanding, how DNA works, life. And all of this, we've got a lot further to go, but it's our knowing of the world is increasing rapidly. And we may be reaching even what in physics called a unified field theory, where we understand how it all links together into one single mathematical equation. And that impulse for knowing is also driving our spiritual journey, which is about knowing ourselves. It's that same impulse to know more. And I would say this is the impulse of the universe, is to know itself more and more fully. So as we begin to reach, not the limits, but reach a fuller and fuller knowing of the outer world, the urge to know more and more about the inner world arises at the same time. And that's one of the reasons why I think we have this whole fascination in spirituality, which is about knowing ourselves, arising at the time we're beginning to fully know the outer world. So I would say the next stage, natural stage in that development of knowing, is the knowing of ourselves. And as we begin to know ourselves better, the fruit of any knowing is the ability to master what you know. As you know something better, you understand how to master it. And this has happened in the physical world. As we've known how things work, we've begun to develop technologies which master that. Quantum physics is a wonderful example. Every single iPhone, computer, any bit of electronics you've got is based upon quantum physics. The chip, any microchip is based upon quantum physics. It's a tunnel effect in the transistor which only works because of quantum physics. We've taken that understanding of quantum physics and we're using it to change the world. And so knowledge inevitably is put to use in one way or another. Everything around us is the world, everything in this room, we've taken the earth and we've reshaped it into all of this stuff because of our knowledge of how to do that, how to build things, how to make materials. All that knowledge leads to the applying of it. The same is true of the inner knowledge. As we begin to look at ourselves and understand ourselves, we begin to see how we limit ourselves psychologically, spiritually. And I think this is what all the spiritual traditions have pointed towards in one way or another, that we live a fraction of our potential. We get caught up in an ego-centered mindset, a materialistic way of thinking that both holds us back individually, but also creates suffering for other people. It gets in the way of our natural love for other people. It can lead to cruelty. It can lead to many, many things. Basically, as Buddha said, it leads to suffering. Not knowing ourselves leads to suffering in one way or another. So as we begin to understand ourselves better and begin to understand how the ego is created, how it works, how we can begin to undo it, how we can dissolve it, we can begin to apply all that understanding of our inner reality to the betterment of humanity, the betterment of ourselves and the betterment of humanity. And so we will see more and more inner technologies of I would call meditation an inner technology. It's applying what we've learned to actually allow the mind to become still and so be more in touch with ourselves. So as we do that, we are going to be liberating ourselves from many of the handicaps, impediments that come from our limited way of being, our limited way of thinking, our self-centeredness. As we free ourselves from that, then we are going to become more compassionate, loving, wiser people, not so concerned about ourselves, not coming out of fear, not out of wanting things so much. Our whole way of living will change. I mean, we're talking about becoming saints. If you look at a saint, our average image of a saint is not somebody who's running to the bank the whole time, being cruel to other people, whatever, caught up in themselves. Our image of a saint is somebody who's generous, they're loving, they're caring, they're simple, they're happy, they're enjoying life. So as we free ourselves up, we are moving in that direction. And I think all these great visionaries, Teilhard de Chardin, Barbara Marx Hubbard, all these other people, they see that is the direction we're moving in.